A glimpse of the future. It says in the book of Revelation that New Jerusalem will come from heaven. So it's not even specifying a temple. An entire new city is going to come from heaven. And of course, having, been raised in secular, modern, mainstream society, we had no concept of a mothership coming and landing like the size of a city. I'm still rectifying this in my brain, like connecting the dots. It's okay. I got this. I'm not upset. I'm not struggling. But it says, only those who worship this Yahuwah Elohai of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob may enter the city. Only the most elite worshippers of that one. And on the outside will be the dogs, the men who lay with men, beings that fit that description. What I've got a sense of going on right now, why you have vampires allowing themselves to be videotaped. I mean, they got freaking TikToks now, man. They're letting themselves be observed and filmed. They know when a camera's on them. We all get that feeling when we know we're being watched. And when an entity like that is watching you, you feel it. There is no avoiding that. Oh boy, you think a spider feeling you through the phone because of the electromagnetic waves is, yeah, that's what it's like. That increase of electromagnetic energy coming through the video plus our observance of it, that is the force by which, that is the amount of energy when one of these beings that are usually referred to as deities and worshipped as such looks at us. We are like that spider in that jar. We're just going like, wah! But without the camera, a normal human being can move around near it and it's like, oh, you don't scare me. So the reason that they're coming out now is because they are perusing what they believe they've inherited, what is now theirs. So it was brought out, plain as day, that these Rockefellers and whatnot, these elite families, they consciously made the choice. They knew that there was a God that would be sometime coming, but they would rather deal with the God that was here and now and get the rewards and the security under them in this lifetime. And so they sold their inheritance, their biological inheritance, their children. They contracted them. So I had been contracted as well. I fell under the umbrella of the Catholic Church first off, and then through my father's programming in the military, coming out, and then getting into the Masonic branch of things. There's several claimings that could have been done over me. However, I sought a higher God and prayed for release from all of that. Even before I had any clue about any of this, I had just been a Catholic girl who didn't want to go back searching for God. How do I be a good mother? Well, God will be the one to tell me how to do that because that's the one who created me. So I go to the Bible, I get sucked up by the Jehovah's Witnesses, and come out of that because the fruits within the congregation were not good. They were rotten. And so I made a vow I will not be worshiping any spirits. I will, and please let the cycle of abuse and addiction end with me. So that was my soul's intention. That was my soul's journey. That was my commitment. And so I was liberated from that. So now, I'm a free agent. I'm a gleaner of the fields, chosen by the holiest of holies, selected by Abun. And so I'm given glimpses of things. When I was first given a glimpse of this, I was just like, this doesn't make sense, because it's supposed to be a paradise on earth. But then I'm reminded, yeah, outside the dogs, the immoral people, it's not going to be a paradise earth. The other stuff is still going to exist. But I left all that behind, and then separately, after I got my creation story, which was back before the Bible stories, book of Genesis, it doesn't counter it in any way. It's just what initiated all of this. And I was given a sense of coming from my own abode, the place where I dwelt, and visiting the communities where I could see how they were doing, renew their faith, that someone who was watching over them to keep track of them, make sure that they were keeping to their boundaries and stuff like that. So I was experiencing oneness with something like a watcher in the future, what it would be like. And all of creation exists for a reason. I understand this, and I've had experiences repeating this to me. And so something like the vampires, they happened. A primordial being, tortured, needing expression, needing sensation, a sensory experience, ended up in a human being. The answer to its desire, its prayers, the fulfillment of its need was found in a human being. And so vampires came to exist, and wherever they have fallen in, they fall in the hierarchy. I don't know. I never got that close. Okay, I got close enough to know. A real live one from the ancients of the days actually did allow themselves to be interviewed, though not seen. I don't even know if a camera could pick them up at this time. But now we see them in New Orleans, and, they got their own TikTok, perusing all these people who wanted to be part of the vampire program. This is what's going to happen to you if you signed up for this, if you sold out to it, if your family sold you to the vampires. You're going to be your own community, and they won't be allowed to prey on any other peoples, because their people will have something in their blood that allows them to feed off their human beings. But if they go and try and feed off of another community of beings, it'll make them sick. It will be untold suffering. They just won't do it unless they're suicidal. But this is why the watcher, the representative, comes to see what the needs are, see, to prevent things like this, suicide by cop from happening. So that's what the new earth is going to look like. And that's why they're in your face. these celebrities doing this. The demons are coming through them to peruse their feeding grounds. Before I left Southern California, I got it. I was so aware of every bet being made over the people around me. Like the rice bowl, it's called this, what is the girl and the Hunger Games. So this round of the Hunger Games that was happening, the 2023 to 2024 season, was called the Rice Bowl. And I got the story of where the Rice Bowl name came from, because way back, like at the very beginning, there's a little itty bitty girl and a little itty bitty boy. They were all smarter back then. They weren't dumbed down like we've been. And she, like her people, was practiced with cooking and carrying and maintaining food with baskets. They knew how to cook their food in them. They didn't need anything more. Well, the little boy was introduced to an iron pan. And he's like, you gotta cook it in this, you gotta cook it in this. It's sturdier. You don't have to worry about it, burning. She's like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. And he's like, well, then I don't want anything to do with you. You need to try this. This is the better way. And so they go at it. It's not pretty. Because as advanced as they were and not dumbed down, not slow to come to reactions, it gets bloody very quickly. And so that is the story that inspired the naming of this division of souls on planet Earth, because the realm walkers had returned in 2023, March of 2023. That's when Armageddon began. The Crimson Circle called it Heaven's Cross event. They knew it was coming. They just didn't know the exact moment of it. So that's when the dividing of everything came up. They could mix and mash and mush and mash and violate one another and screw around, but the masters were coming back. They knew it. They had to get their lines straight. They've got it all settled. This, you need to do this, all this, Trump with guitar, and this one losing influence and power, and this one doing this. That's all show. That's a show being put on so the mainstream people can accept what choice has already been made. You've already been divvied up. All the people in all the nations have already been divvied up. They're all getting, yeah, we got everything in order here. Oh, yeah, we gave that one to this one. Yeah, he got that one. Won that one in a poker game. Yeah, that one proved too difficult, so I just let him have that one. Yeah. They're all, oh, yeah, we got, oh, you can come now. Yeah, come. See, I made an agreement with this one, and this is a plan on how to get these people in line, and these people are coming into line. We're good. We're all good here. They're ready. They're good and faithful servants. So that's where you are. That's where we are at this point in time. The motherships are coming to prepare the way for the mothership of all motherships, for this, that deal with this part of the universe. And all the elite that sold themselves to the one that were here, because that just seemed prudent at the time, they're all going into bunkers underground. And from previous catastrophes, resets, there are indigenous people who remember the stories of their origins coming up out of the ground. A lot of them paired up with the Nagas, and so the Nagas gave them shelter underground. These elites of today, though, going into these big underground bunkers that sold themselves to the draconians and the greys, well, that's going to be a last supper for those draconians and greys. They already agreed to it. I ain't going down in no bunker. You think that those places are horror shows now? There will be no escaping. And the ones that thought that they bought themselves, a place as, underground governor of the underground city. Yeah, no. If you live, they want to live forever. They're having themselves, genetically modified with microchips. They are going to want to die as their soul is constantly sucked dry, because that is all that these draconians and greys under the ground will have to sustain them as the God of gods, the holiest of holies, comes and takes over the earth to live here and stay with us. So yeah, that's what it's going to look like when Armageddon is over and this peaceful reign comes. You're going to have pockets of these various humanoids with their human beings. You will still be cattle. Cattle to whom? Who you serve. Depends on who you sold yourself and who your parents sold you to. So the Mormon, the entities that have been governing the Mormon church, they have their people designated, and they will be pulled out from wherever they are. If you were born in the Mormon church and you just went off, you didn't get liberated from the belief system, you just went and lived more like an atheistic, secular life, you're going back to them, wherever the Mormon people are ending up, whether it's a bunker underground. That's where they're going. That's where people are going. The Catholic Church people, the Catholic Church has already been taken over, and so anybody who hasn't left it, anybody who's held faithful to that, dedicated themselves to that, and just went out and lived a secular life but never found any new home, spiritual home, they're going to be sucked back. They're going to be cattle for those entities, and who the Israelites are going to have to learn a few things about how they control and manipulate God, because they don't believe God is an entity. They fall under the metaphysical influence, and so whatever happens there, which of them decides to be preserved is preserved, and whichever ones prove not to be coming into alignment will be sold or destroyed. The Islamists, they're got their people. The Hindus will be under their people. The Buddhists have their people, their overlords. It will be all divvied up, and supposedly only New Jerusalem will be the governing, truly peaceful place on earth. So there you go. What the earth's going to look like in the future, I can't even quantify or qualify it, if that's true. That's just what was shown me. And the one thing that I can qualify is I'm merely a human being. In scripture, it does say that, of the disciples, you will be given governance, you will judge the angels. So whether I was merely experiencing oneness with a watcher type figure, or if I was going to be elevated to a watcher type figure. That I'm not even like, I don't want that clarified in my ego right now, because if I've only experienced oneness with it, then I'm still a human being and I'm minding my place. And if that is the future version of me, it's not me now, so I'm not going to assume anything about myself and the means by which I get there. You know, this once saved, always saved. Even if I have been marked and I have no choice in the matter, I'm still not going to have the mentality that I can't do no wrong, you know. But I'm going to be confident that I'm not going to be led into such wrongness that I'm going to end up as Draco food. Yeah, I'm not feeling any resistance to me saying I'm never going to be Draco food. Alright, we're good. And the ones that siphoned the soul out of me, obviously they can't keep me. And I mean, what are they going to do with my energy? They're going to feed off my energy. They're going to start crying at every heartbreaking, heart-wrenching sob story they're told. Like, that food is toxic. Don't feed off that girl. You're going to feel things. Somehow I understood that a long time ago. Like, when people energy vampirism, I was just like, yeah, go ahead, siphon off of me. You'll just become self-reflective. You're going to see everything about yourself. You're going to understand everything about yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly. And you're not going to want to hurt me after that. You're not going to want to hurt anybody after that. So, yeah, here. Take a draw. So, yeah. Again, the prophet who laughs at herself. Alright, so yeah, that's image impressions I've gotten for the new earth. Now, how I'm going to get there, I don't know, but just today, we're good.